Are you looking to acquire business credit or business funding for your new business in 2023? Well, hopefully this video gives you some strategies around how to start the business entity, how to get your business up and running responsibly, use other people's money and protect your cash so you can be liquid or cash positive in this next season, especially for many of us who are maybe a little hesitant about making some investments because of this recession or downturn that we're in. It's all a mindset, right? Well, welcome to this channel. My name is Dr. Brian or Dr. B. I'm a holistic life and business coach and strategist for entrepreneurs and thought leaders like yourself. I want to help you get to the next level, start leveraging your life, your business, your financial situation. So on this channel, we talk about finance, we talk about business, we talk about entrepreneurship and overall personal development. All right. So if that sounds good to you, what I would like for you to do is go ahead and do me a quick favor before I jump into the value is go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any types of videos in those categories. All right, so let's jump into it. So if you have a new business this season, you're in one of two places. Number one, you have an idea and yet haven't started the business entity, meaning you don't have an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, Series LLC, any type of structured business entity. Now, if you are ahead of the game and you've already received your articles of organization, which are your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, so on and so forth, your structured entity, then we've got two veins to go down, two roads. Road number one is if you don't have your business structured entity, we want to start right here and make sure you file so you get your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or any structured entity. Now, we're not going to go into all the details about which structured entity you should start with. Maybe that'll be in another video, but I want you to advise with your tax professional because it's essentially how you will be taxed. Now, once you get your articles of organization from the Secretary of State in whatever state you're in the United States, and then you get your EIN number, your employee identification number from the IRS, now you have everything that you need to get your business credit, business funding, day one of opening up your business. That's step number one. Step number two is understanding how you're going to use the funds. Now, a little frustration from me in this space is when people throw out the word funding. Now, this word funding is not really explained very often. Funding is divided up into a couple of different parts. There are tools that go under the overarching theme of funding. And in the business credit realm, we have business credit cards, we have lines of credit, and we have loans. And then we have subsets of those three. All right. So what we're trying to do when you're asking for business credit or business funding is we're trying to match the right tool that you're going to use for your particular investment. So I want you to write down or have a purpose of how you're going to use these funds. Are you using it for payroll? Are you using it for an asset acquisition such as real estate? Are you using it for just getting ahead and you may need it or a use case? Are you using it for materials or supplies? Are you using it for maybe the investment that you're trying to make? Step number three, we have to check your personal credit score in the right place. The personal credit score is the foundation in leaning into business credit. Dr. B, why in the world do they pull my personal credit? Why do they have to do that when I have a business entity? I want to separate everything. So the first step in acquiring business credit or business funding for your new business is to make sure you understand how the credit system works. And to do that, we must understand how personal credit works. Now, before you jump ahead or you skip off of here and you're like, well, I don't want my personal credit checked. I don't want my personal credit even involved in this process. I want to give you some hopefully enlightenment about how this process has changed over the years. There are a couple of leverage points that you have as a new business owner. And for some of you, my seasoned business owners, not having yourself structured properly has now had you back to revisiting this topic in this season. When you go into a financial institution, as we know, the financial institution is there using our money to make money. So there is a hedged position or a leveraged position that they want to see when they're acquiring a customer. You, right? So when you're walking into the bank and they see a couple of different things, they see an opportunity as a new customer, but there are a couple of things they're looking for in a new customer. Number one, most banks go in 4 categories. There's national banks, there's regional banks, there's credit unions, and there are community institutions, community banks. Now, there are regulatories around each of these institutions, so one may be seemingly more strict than the others because they have less regulations. So when you're walking into many of these institutions, the first thing they're looking for is a relationship. They don't like you knocking on their door, asking for things, asking for a package of sugar, some ketchup, whatever it is, and you leave and you go elsewhere. They want to see a relationship. So if you are new, that's not really a leveraged position that you have walking into that institution. So that's kind of ding number 1, is that you're just new. Now, if you have a relationship with an institution already on the personal side, and they happen to have a business department or a commercial side, then this is an absolutely great opportunity because you have that leveraged point. We can check that off, right? The next leverage point is to make sure that you have some liquid cash. So all of these leverage points are to make you realize why they may have to check your personal credit score, why the personal credit score is so important. If you don't have any liquid cash, meaning you don't have any high cash deposits that you can come in because you're new, even if you're pulling those cash deposits from your personal checking, your personal savings, and you're making an initial deposit. Now, there are stipulations around, banking ratings out there that you may hear, and we may cover that in other videos, but this is a beginner or basic video for you. So if you don't have any liquid cash or capital to hedge up front or to deposit right away, then that's another ding, right? We don't have anything to give them. So they're looking at us like, you're new, you don't have anything to give me, yet you're asking for something. So what's the last thing that they want to see? They want to see how responsible you are as a human being, as a asset to the society, as a manager of your own personal finances. So say it all with me. They are wanting to check your personal credit score in order to acquire their business credit card products, lines of credit, loans. Now, this is not every institution, but this is the leaning direction in which most institutions are going. When we're talking about personal credit associated with business credit or business funding, I always like to really hone in on this point so you understand and to take a deep breath as to, okay, I guess I got to get my personal credit score in order. We got 2 scoring systems. We got 3 credit bureaus on the personal side. Most people don't check their credit score in the proper place. So that is where we start. We have to have a personal credit score, ideally 680 and above, FICO 8, okay? That means that we need to be checking a FICO scoring system versus a Vantage scoring system. So if you're checking your credit score on Credit Karma or your financial institution, it's typically going to be a Vantage score and not a true FICO score. So there can be discrepancies there. So there are a couple of places that you can check your FICO score properly, and the first is just going to be Experian.com. Now, this is just one bureau for free. We have to have all bureaus to expose our opportunities when we're going in for these funding options. There are a couple of links down below that you can check, and one is an affiliate link. It is My Score IQ. Okay, that's going to give all 3 bureaus, and you can check it out for $1, and then you can cancel it if you want to. But I'd highly recommend, I do it personally, to always have my bureaus available and updated, so I'm ready to pull the trigger or the application at any time. And the third would be myfico.com. These are really the only 3 places that I recommend people checking their credit profile and their credit score, okay, to get the most accurate, up-to-date. So when you go into that application, you know exactly what your credit score is and you're not surprised from a denial or anything that might be on your credit profile. So now that there is an understanding of the personal credit scoring system, and also you have an intention of how you're going to use this overarching funding down to a credit card, a line of credit, or a loan, and we're matching that with the investment that you're trying to make and the intention of why you're getting it, let's jump into the qualifiables. Dr. B, do I qualify to move forward with a business credit card application, a business line of credit, a business loan? Now, for a new business owner, I'm going to lean more towards the credit card side because it's going to require less documentation. Because we don't have a lot of stuff on paper, we don't have age on our side really. For some people, they don't have the liquid capital to show just yet. So I want to make sure that you are getting into a funding option that you can manage and that doesn't require a lot of extra questions on the back end. Now, here is the first step. I want to make sure that you are going down one of two roads, okay? We can acquire a business credit card without having a legitimate business structured entity. I will repeat that again. We can acquire a business credit card without having a legitimate structured business entity. Dr. B, what does that mean? That means that anyone can get a business credit card because the classification of a business is simply rendering products or services. So that means if you sold on eBay, if you've had a friend that you've sold something to, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, anything, you technically have a business, okay? So in the eyes of a financial institution for their credit card products, you would be technically a doing business as DBA. So if that was me, I'd be doing business as Brian McElderry, okay? So that means that everyone in the United States, at least, can acquire a business credit card. Now, on this particular channel, and you that are starting a legitimate business, hopefully, we want to structure the business entity. That means you have an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, Series LLC. Those are the minimum requirements. Now, we're not going to go into which one. Now, maybe if you comment down below, would you want me to make another video over that topic? Because a business structured entity is really just how you're taxed. And my recommendation right now for my new business owners is that you can start an LLC, because if you start making a legitimate amount of money in year one, you can be taxed as an S Corp, or you can switch to an S Corp taxation during that season. Once you have your articles of organization from the Secretary of State in your respective state, or if you decide to go out of state, that's your discretion. If you have your EIN number as well from the IRS, your employee identification number, we are ready to move on to qualification number 2, which is checking your personal credit score. So what I recommend for my clients or anyone that I'm consulting is having a personal credit score above 700 and their personal credit revolving utilization being underneath 10%. All right. So if you do not have that, if you're right underneath the cusp, 680 or so, 670 FICO 8, and you have above 10%, it doesn't mean that you're out of the ball game. It just means you're kind of getting into like that red, that yellow, that orange zone. You're not necessarily in full go, full green zone. Okay, so I just want to make you aware of that so you don't go into the application. Now, you can pull the trigger if you would like, and I have gotten clients and people approved at 670 or so for top tier business credit cards. The next qualification is to make sure that you have top tier, meaning national banks or regional banks or top tier credit unions on your personal credit profile. That means if you have a national bank such as a Bank of America, a US Bank, a Truist, a Chase, something like that on your profile, even if you've already gotten yourself into American Express, if you have a Navy Federal, even if you have maybe a Capital One, a Discover, those are still falling into the range of having top tier institutions. Now, if you are full on your personal credit profile of having a bunch of co-branded store cards, I would recommend us getting at least one top tier personal credit card before maybe pulling the trigger on some of these business credit cards. Now, what we can do is go into choosing the product. Choosing the product is so important because we don't want to just get any business credit card. And even though you might be saying, Dr. B, I'll take anything, I want to pause you right quick because every tool is created for a reason. And this is no different than any of the business credit products on the market. So since we've narrowed it down to business credit cards as being the most highly approvable option for a new business owner and the most useful, well, there are a couple of things that I want you to focus on, primarily financial institutions, okay? We're not going bottom of the barrel. We're not going to, the gas cards and all those things. I'm talking about top tier Chase, Citibank, American Express, national bank institutions, okay? So if you follow the qualifications previously, we can get approvals for these top tier business credit cards day one of opening up your business. So the business credit cards on the market that I lean towards are typically 0% interest business credit cards. And if you want to learn more about that, I have my ebook down in the description, okay? So check that out. But 0% interest business credit, which I'll cover in a whole nother video, is one of the most powerful tools on the market because you're not charged interest on the amount that you borrow or use on that business credit card for the duration of that incentive, okay? So it could be 7 months, it could be 9 months, it could be 12 months. So if you have a $5,000 investment that you're making for your business and you put it all on the business credit card, do you have to pay that business credit card in full off right away? Well, no, if it's a 0% interest business credit card, because now you just create a payment plan over the course of those 7, 9, or 12 months. That's a very powerful tool because now you don't have to come out of your own cash, which has probably been your problem up to this point, which is why you're on this video listening to this. So a 0% interest business credit card is going to be a great option. But again, going back to that intention for why you're applying, I don't want you to start running out of time if you don't have an investment ready to make. So if you apply for this 0% interest business credit card and you don't make an investment month 1, month 2, month 3, you get my drift. You're starting to run out of that time for that 0% interest promotional period. So I'm very, very keen on anyone that's applying for a 0% interest business credit card that they have an investment they're going to make so they get the full benefit of that tool. So here are a couple of options on the table. First, I want to start with the institutions. American Express is typically my go-to because they're a little bit more lenient, as some of you might think they're the most strict, but they're a little bit more lenient in approvals for new business owners, okay? Not asking for a lot of documentation. They just want to see those stipulations that I covered previously. So the American Express Blue Business Plus, also the American Express Blue Business Cash are great options. And those both are 0% interest business credit cards with no annual fee. With Chase, it's going to be the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited or the Chase Business Inc. Cash card, which are also going to be 0 annual fee, and it's also going to be a 0% interest business credit card. Now, I'm not going to cover all of the options. Maybe I'll have it down in the description underneath my links, but other national banks that you may be an affiliate with also have business credit products. So make sure you do your due diligence in checking out their products on their website to see if you may be qualifiable for those products because you have an extensive relationship with that institution. Now that we are at the point of applying and we've chosen the product, I want to make sure that we're going into this application the right way. Now, I'll probably do a different video around how to fill out a business credit application properly, but one thing that I really want to hone in, not to leave you hanging on this video, is when you're putting in your income for your business, I want to make sure that you're putting in a projected income. So if you're starting a new business, just say you're starting a coaching and consulting practice and you have a product in your coaching and consulting practice that you're going to sell for $1,000, okay? And you're projecting that in year 1, you will sell maybe 3 to 4 of those offers per month, okay? Then that will give you a projection of around $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So this will be a legitimate projection that you can put into that. Now, every business, especially new businesses, should have a projection. So this is legitimate to put in that income field for your initial projection. Now, I'm not going to give you financial advice, but you may have heard around the streets that you may inflate that just a little bit because you're optimistic about your business. Now, be careful about this as well, just to make sure that you're putting in a true, honest income in that field when you're filling out the application. Hopefully this video helped you into getting funding or business credit for your new business in this new season, 2023, to make sure that you get off to an amazing start to your business and you're not held back by the cash that you may not have or that you don't want to use. Make sure you have an intentional plan for how you're going to use it and understand that this money does have to be paid back. You have a profitability plan for how you're going to turn that funding that we're getting for you and turn it into a profitable, impactful business for yourself. Peace, love, and blessings. See you in the next one.